everybody, Nick with you. Thank you for joining me on my channel. If you're new, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. I figure with the conference finals about to start, it makes sense that I look back on the predictions that I made at the start of the postseason. And I guess the one prediction that I got right was that my predictions would be way, way off. Well, that said, we're going to start in the Western Conference. Seattle, Colorado, you know, the scores here. The winning team is in red, of course, not necessarily the home team. So take a look at game one. Kraken took that one 3-1. Next game, Colorado even the series 3-2 the win. Game three, first playoff game in Seattle. Avalanche took it 6-4. Kraken responded right back in game four with a 3-2 win in overtime. They then took game five in Colorado 3-2. Chance to end it at home failed. Colorado took that one 4-1, and Seattle won 2-1 in Denver to take the series in 7 games. Notice that 5 of the 7 games the road team won, and the road team's winning a lot in these playoffs. But yeah, needless to say, I thought that Colorado would take that series. I was wrong. Moving on to the Minnesota Wild and the Dallas Stars. Game one, it took 2 overtimes, but the Wild took a 3-2. Dallas responded in game two with a 7-3 victory. Both of those games were in Dallas. Game 3 and 4, Minnesota, they split those ones. Minnesota taking game 3 5-1. Dallas taking game 4 by a score of 3-2. Game 5 back in Dallas, the Stars blanked the Minnesota Wild 4-0. And then game 6 in Minnesota, Dallas takes it 4-1 to win the series in 6 games. I figured Dallas would win this one. Turns out I was right on that one. Okay. Next, we got the Winnipeg Jets and the Vegas Golden Knights. Winnipeg with a huge victory in game 1, 5-1 in Vegas, which they couldn't do last time they met in the playoffs 5 years ago, was win in Vegas. So that was an important first step. Unfortunately, they weren't really able to capitalize on it. Because the next game, Vegas won 5-2. Game 3 in Winnipeg was probably Winnipeg's best game all series. Coming back from 4-1 deficit, I believe, to tie it late in the third. First overtime does nothing. Second overtime early on, Vegas scores to take it 5-4. Game 4, Winnipeg hopes to get some momentum from that last game. That falls short as the Golden Knights take it 4-2. And then in game 5, the Golden Knights win 4-1 to take that series in 5 games. I figured, Winnipeg was up and down all season, they wouldn't win the series, and they didn't. And finally, for round 1 on the West, we got the LA Kings and the Edmonton Oilers, a rematch from last year's first round matchup. First game goes to LA 4-3 in overtime. Then the Oilers respond with a 4-2 win to even the series. Games 3 and 4 both go to overtime. They split those. LA takes game 3 3-2, and then Edmonton takes game 4 by a score of 5-4. Game 5 back in Edmonton, the Oilers take that one by a 6-3 score, and then they close it out in LA in game 6 5-4, take that series in 6 games. I figured the Oilers were going to win this one. I thought they were going to win the Cup. More on that later. But I guess we'll stick with the West while we're here. Second round, and this was an okay one. I mean, I thought Dallas would. I thought try this again. You know what? I might as well just stick with the first round while I'm here. So in the East, we got the Florida Panthers and the Boston Bruins. Okay, Boston takes that first one 3-1. Then Florida 6-3 game 2 winners. Games 3 and 4 in Florida, Boston takes them 4-2 and 6-2 respectively in games 3 and 4. And you think, hey, series is over, right? Right? Well, I think that's where that was pretty much as good as it got for the Boston Bruins. Mistaken goaltending in overtime caused Florida to take game 5 4-3. In game 6, Florida took it 7-5, and then another overtime game in game 7. Florida takes it 4-3 to take that series in 7 games. You got 2 wild cards the second round. The unexpected wild cards out to Seattle with Florida. Moving on in the first round and against some of the odds-on favorites to potentially go all the way. Remember, I thought Boston would make it to the Cup final. Anyway, next we got the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Tampa Bay takes that first game 7-3. Toronto responds in game 2, winning 7-2. And game 3 and 4, Toronto comes back. They were trailing for a lot of this series, actually. But game 3, they end up taking it 4-3 in overtime. And then game 4, it's 5-4 in overtime, the final. Tampa Bay kind of keeps it alive in game 5 with a 4-2 win. And then game 6 in Tampa, once the game goes to overtime, this one Toronto takes the 2-1, wins that series in 6. I figured Toronto would take this one, but they weren't going to get much further on. Again, more on that later. Next, we got the Islanders and the Hurricanes. So the Hurricanes take the first 2 games 2-1, and then 4-3 in overtime for game 2. Islanders take game 3 with a 5-1 win in Long Island. And then Carolina responds back with a 5-2 win to take a 3-1 lead in the series. Islanders win game 5 in Carolina 3-2 to kind of keep their hopes up a little bit. But in game 6, Carolina wins 2-1 in overtime. And of course, they win the series 4-2. Now, that one I was right about. So, I thought that Carolina would make it all the way to the conference finals, which right now they're in. But again, we'll get back to that. Finally, with the first round matchups, you got the Rangers and the Devils. Rangers taking the first 2 games 5-1. Both of them were 5-1. Devils taking games 3 and 4 in New York. 2-1 in overtime game 3, and then game 4 was 3-1. Game 5, the Devils took it 4-0, sorry. Then the Rangers winning 5-2 in game 6 to even the series. And then New Jersey does another 4-0 shutout victory to take the series in 7 games. That one I figured the Rangers would take. Obviously they didn't. So, first round matchups. My predictions. I was wrong with Seattle, Colorado. I was right about Minnesota, Dallas. I was right about the Jets and Golden Knights. I was right about the Kings and Oilers. I was way off of Boston and Florida. I was right about Toronto, Tampa. I was right about the Islanders and Hurricanes. I was wrong about the Rangers and Dallas. So I was 5 for 8. Not bad. Like, if you're going on a round by round basis, 5 of 8 isn't too bad. You're batting above 500. You know. But anyway, I'm going to move to the second round. Back to the West, we got the Seattle Kraken and the Dallas Stars. Game 1, the Kraken take it 5-4 in overtime. The Dallas responds in game 2 with a 4-2 victory. Game 3, Seattle just blows Dallas right out of the water with a 7-2 win. Dallas responds with a 6-3 win in game 4. Dallas takes game 5 with a 5-2 win. Then Seattle takes game 6 with a 6-3 win. And then finally in game 7, Seattle just runs out of gas and the Stars take it 2-1. I figured Dallas would take this one, but deep down I wanted Seattle to win. Just because, hey. Next up, the Oilers and the Golden Knights. So, Vegas takes game 1 by score of 6-4. Edmonton 5-1 over Go Vegas in game 2. Game 3, Edmonton Vegas wins by the same score, 5-1. Then Edmonton ties up the series again with a 4-1 victory. Game 5, the Golden Knights take it 4-3. And the game 6, they win at 5-2 in Edmonton to take the series in 6 games. Now, of course, like I said, I thought that the Oilers would win, well, not just the series, but I thought they'd win the Cup. Obviously, that's not going to happen. So, this changes a lot from my predictions. So, well, Florida being Boston changed a lot of my predictions. Speaking of Florida, we go to the second round matchup in the East. First, the Florida Panthers and Toronto Maple Leafs. Florida taking game 1 4-2. Taking game 2 3-2. Toronto had probably their best game in game 3, although they lost 3-2 in overtime. So there's that stranglehold 3-0 for Florida. Toronto managed to get a win in the series with a 2-1 win in game 4. And then a lot of good chances either way in game 5 in overtime, but Florida takes a 3-2, wins the series in 5 games. Obviously, like I said, Toronto wasn't going to make it past the second round. I wasn't expecting them to. I mean, especially after game 3 when they were down 0-3, but it is what it is. And finally, second round, New Jersey and Carolina. So Carolina takes the first 2 games at home, 5-1 in game 1, 6-1 in game 2. The Devils with their best game of the series, 8-4 in game 3. Carolina responds with a 6-1 win in game 4 and then takes game 5, 3-2 in overtime to win the series in 5. Like I say, I expected Carolina will win that series and they'd at least move on to the conference finals. That's where they are now. So here we are. Conference finals, we got the Florida Panthers and the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, I honestly believe that, Florida had no business beating Boston. They had no business beating Toronto. I don't think they're going to beat Carolina, so I'm thinking Carolina is going to make it to the Cup final. And as far as the West, you got the Dallas Stars and the Vegas Golden Knights. I think Vegas was more dominant between the two teams. So I'm going to say, I'm not going to make a cup winner prediction now because, there's a good chance I'll get it wrong because I've been wrong a lot so far. And as far as the second round matchups, I was 2 for 4, by the way. But I honestly think it's going to be the Vegas Golden Knights and the Carolina Hurricanes playing in the Cup final. And once we get to that, we'll figure out the rest of this. But for now, I guess that's where I'll leave it. If you have your predictions as to who you think is going to take whatever series, even if you want to predict who's going to win the Cup at the end, give me your predictions in the comment section below. Also, be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you like, subscribe to Nick Adams on YouTube, and click on the bell, turn on notifications so you'll know when the new content is uploaded. We'll see you again.